this is a workshop that, first let me start over. I'll start over. My name is Portia Taylor with Black Girls Ride Magazine. And every year we do a series of long distance rider workshops to prepare women for the season of long distance riding. As you know, it's not something that you can just hop on a bike and decide I'm going to go across country or I'm going to do 48 states. It takes a lot of planning and preparation. So I want to thank Indian Motorcycle and Polaris Slingshot for giving us the resources to be here. I want to thank Sky Power Sports for opening their home to us. They are one of the premier dealerships here in Florida. If you guys are in the market for an Indian, a Slingshot, and they've got quite a few other brands, it seems like this is a place to shop. So we want to thank them for allowing us to come and set up shop here today. And we are here with the ladies of K92MC. This is a national female motorcycle club with thousands of miles on ground. The recipients of the Beautiful Bikers Award for 2023 as well. So we are excited to have you ladies here on the panel. I'm going to start to the far right and just have you introduce yourself. Tell me your name, what city you're from, and what you ride. Okay? Go ahead.
So my name is Premia. I ride a 2021 Street Glide. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
My name is Cinnamon. I'm from North Carolina and I ride a 2022 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse.
Hey y'all, I'm DJ. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I have a Road Glide, a 2015 special Road Glide up front.
I am Black Lotus. I reside in Atlanta, Georgia, and I ride a 2013 Street Glide, so it's so kicking.
And hi, my name is Spice. I ride a 2018 Road Glide special, and I currently reside in Kansas.
And my name is Portia Taylor. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I ride an Indian Challenger Dark Horse. Her name is Goldie, and she's adorable, and I love her. Okay, so the way we're gonna do this is kind of a panel style. Let's start with the topics that we'll be covering. We're gonna talk about your bike, your body, and your budget, getting on ground, and what you need to do to prepare. So let's start with the body. Are any of you guys nurses or in the healthcare profession? Okay, so we're leaning on you to be our expert in what you need to do. So Cinnamon, can you give me your top 5 things you would do to prepare your body for a long distance riding? By long distance, I'm going to count 1,000 miles in a day, right?
So one of the first things I would try to make sure I do is do some small rides to kind of, build your stamina up. Because you don't want to get out there trying to do a 12-hour ride and you haven't done a 2-hour ride. So build up your stamina, build up your confidence so that you can make that long distance ride. Another thing is going to be hydration. What you eat on this ride, it can't be all sugar. It can't be, all protein. You can't be constipated. I mean, there's so many things that go into, making sure your body is good for the ride. So diet, hydration, stamina, stretching is definitely another good one. You want to make sure that you do stretches. You want to, do some bending, even just some exercises, some yoga. Yoga is, works wonders. Those are the top things I would put.
So let's talk a little bit more about hydration in depth. A lot of people don't really know what that means. They think if I drink a bottle of water before I ride, I'm hydrated.
Yeah.
What does that really mean?
So hydration is making sure you have the right electrolytes in your body. One thing that I really like to use is called liquid IV. You can pack it, you can put it in bottles, you can freeze it, especially on like hot summer days you're riding. It's gonna thaw out. Another thing I like to do is I like to freeze fruit because it's water. So it's gonna hydrate you, it's gonna give you those electrolytes, it's gonna give you a little bit of sugar, water, all in one, one thing. You want to hydrate, I say, especially on hot days, every time you stop, you want to make sure you drink. When you're going out west, it's like 100 degrees, dry heat. Camel packs work amazing. Get you a camel pack. If you don't have to stop for gas, if you don't have to pee, suck on that baby and keep riding. So invest in your camel pack, liquid IV, and freeze you some fruit.
Anybody else want to chime in on hydration?
I would say make sure you hydrate days before. Don't hydrate the day of and think you're good. Nah, it takes time to kind of soak into
When
your
would you
blood.
start your hydration?
I would say, well, I drink a lot of water anyway, but I would say at least a week before, just start incorporating water and then try to get to.
I think I would go a little bit further. I think I would start my hydration 2 weeks before.
Okay.
Yeah, because that allows your body to get used to the feeling of water. You're flushing out toxins,
Right.
And you're building up that reserve.
Yes.
What else? What else would you do as far as hydration?
I like the liquid IV because it's portable.
Right.
Cup holders.
Gatorade as well. Yeah, cup
Cup
holders.
Put a cup holder on your bike if you have the
Yeah.
space for it. Even though in the summer, when you buy your cold water, you walk outside, it's hot already.
Right.
You still gonna need that hot water.
So the key for me, right, is to get, like she mentioned, a camel pack, right? But I don't wear the backpack. I wear the fanny pack because I don't like stuff pulling on my shoulders, and I'll fill that up with ice at a gas stop, and it'll melt throughout the ride. So, how often do you guys stop when you plan your ride?
I do tank to tank.
You do tank to tank.
Tank to tank.
Tank to tank. Okay, I'm gonna switch it up a little and give you a reason why you shouldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
So most bikes are typically these days getting 150 to 175 miles to the tank, right? I suggest that you stop 100 to 125 miles because your body needs to stretch. You need to hydrate in more increments, in increased increments, especially in 115 degree weather, right? So coming from Los Angeles, in order to get to you, it's 4 hours just to get out of my state to come east. So that means I have to hit Palm Springs, which is about 120 in the summertime. And then Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, as you know, is 118. And we may get a little bit of relief by El Paso, Texas. It'll drop down to like 113. And so these are elevated temperatures for long periods of time. If you don't stop and hydrate often, you can get heat stroke. You can get those type of heat diseases that you won't see coming until you get off the bike. Right? You might think you're okay, and then you get off the bike and you almost want to pass out. So that's super important. So keeping in mind with what else you need to prepare your body. What are some things you would do a month ahead of time to prepare your body for it?
She said definitely something that is real wise to prepare your body.
Anything else?
Some exercises, like exercise your body. So walking, if you're a runner, go running, ride a bike. At the gym, because it helps your muscles build up muscle memory and stamina in your body. So I would definitely suggest working out at least even 60 days.
30 walk days.
And like 2-3 times. Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else you could think of?
I feel like for me personally, as far as working out,
Right, so setting up your bike ergonomically is what I'm hearing, right? Making sure you have the right floorboards, making sure you have the right handlebars, windscreens, like you said, a cup holder, things to make your bike more friendly for a longer distance, right? Some of the things I might focus on is strength training, particularly your core, because you're sitting and your core muscles are tight usually during the whole ride. So if you've got core, and don't let the fat fool you, there's some abs under here somewhere. You know, if you can get your core tight, it'll help you with your balance. It'll help you just feel more comfortable on the ride. Stuff that starts to ache is usually going to be your quads or your calves. So stretching, like she mentioned before, is really key. And if you start stretching 60 days before, 30 days before the ride, you'll feel it when it's time to get on and off the bike. People don't realize how much energy you spend just getting in the saddle. Considering, let's say you're going to do 800 miles in a day, that for me would be about 8 gas stops. That's getting on and off the bike 8 times. That's a lot on your body, right? So strength training, also lifting light weights but higher reps, just to get your overall strength up. And you want to make sure you're getting rest. You need to start your sleep schedule. So I would start to get on a regular pattern where I know I'm in bed by 10. And if you're setting out to leave your city at 5 a.m., you need to start getting up at 5 a.m. a lot sooner than just jarring your body awake on the day of your ride, right? You want to start preparing that, and then prepare yourself mentally. You want to make sure that you start your meditation routine early as well. When you're sitting for hours on a bike, you need to be okay with the stillness of, talking to yourself or being by yourself, because you're in a group ride, but you're still solo once you get in your saddle, right, for the most part. And that's when I have my talks with God and things like that. And then also, I know this isn't necessarily health related, but you want to start preparing your music selections for this long distance ride. Right? Because you start listening to the same stuff, it can kill your ride knowing that I got days of the same stuff. So you want to break it up. So you might do music, you might do comedy shows, you might do audio books, podcasts, just things that'll keep you aware while you're on the road, because you will nod off if you're not engaging your mind, right? Can you guys think of anything else that you would want to cover for your body? That's a lot, huh? That's a lot. Right? Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, so let's start thinking about some other things that are important. Medical contacts. Whoever you're with needs to have your next of kin information, and they also need to know if you have any illnesses that require certain stops or it may require special medical attention. So if you have somebody in your group that's allergic to shellfish, you need to know where their EpiPen is. If the EpiPen is locked in the bike, you can't help them, right? So you want to encourage them to carry it on their person whenever they're going to eat. You also want to let your road captain know if you have a need to stop for food, because you may be diabetic or you may need to take medication and you need to stop and eat something before you get on the road. You want to consider what you're eating while you're on the road, which she mentioned. Not a lot of sugar, right? A lot of us don't stop for big meals in the middle of a ride. You are snacking your way through the day, and then when you get to your location, you may have your big meal at the end of the day, assuming you get somewhere that's open, And I encourage folks to ride. I know a lot of people, they want to just pound through the night. For me, I encourage you to ride in the daylight hours, sun up to sundown, for a couple of reasons. One, it's higher visibility for you on the bike, because I'm not worried about whether you can see, I'm worried about if people can see you, especially when we're talking about big 18-wheeler trucks and SUVs and cars that are zooming around trying to get around you because they're impatient. If you're in the daylight, you can be seen and you're safer. Also, you're more likely to find somewhere at the end of your day that is still open. If you land in a city between 6 and 8 o'clock, you're guaranteed to get a decent meal. After 8 o'clock, stuff starts closing down, and now you're relegated to fast food places and things that are really unhealthy. We want to encourage you to eat roughage, salads, vegetables, fruit while you're on the road, because a lot of times your digestive system can start to break down if you're not eating the right stuff. If all you're eating is greasy fast food, it's gonna ruin your ride.
Every gas station down the road.
Right. Exactly. You wanna moderate red meat. I know when I'm on the road, I need to eat at a decent steakhouse, especially if I've been eating at smaller places. When I get to a major city, I'm going to go spend some money because I want a nice meal. But you need to regulate your intake of red meat because it's going to back you up, right? So more chicken, more veggies, but we're going to eat pizza. We're going to eat gas station nonsense every now and again. And as we're stopping at the gas station, we're getting nuts, we're getting fruit. Well, I'm actually encouraged by the amount of choices for healthy snacks that are now at the gas stations. When I started doing this, you was lucky if you could get a Snickers, and you know it was a lot of sugary treats. But now they've got a nice array of healthy snack choices. So you want to try to lean toward those, and if you can, you want to prepare those snacks ahead of time because we'll talk about that in the budget side. Every time you buy a candy bar, it's $3 at a gas station. That could get to add up quick, right? So I think that's it. For any questions about how to prepare your bike or your body? No? Sure, go ahead.
When you were talking about like the heat issues, when you start getting the heat cramps, carry little things. They sell pickle juice,
Right.
or you can get mustard
Mustard
packets from the
packets,
gas
yeah.
station. Mustard and pickle juice will knock that cramp out like that. I know it might taste crazy and you might not like it, but it will work. I'm telling you.
Did you want to have a question?
Oh, I just had a question about like circulation, blood flow. With your legs or whatever being in a certain position for so long, I don't know if compression socks or anything like that is something that could be recommended because your legs are in the same position, or even your hands are in the same position. So I didn't know.
So that's a great point, and that also goes to setting up your bike ergonomically. So on my bike, I have floorboards and then I have highway pegs. And I don't wear a backrest because I might be on the back seat sometime just trying to stretch out. So you do tend to move on the bike a lot. You make my legs go up for 10 minutes, they come down for 10 minutes, they sitting on the back pegs for 10 minutes. It depends on how I'm feeling. You are gonna need to move around, and that's another reason why it's important to stretch before you ride. So any other questions?
I had a
Before
comment,
go ahead.
So when you mentioned about talking to your road captain, and I know it may sound crazy, but sometimes when you ride with people, you may ask my name, find out their real name. Because when they go down, you're like, all I know is premium. I don't know, what's her name? And it's like nobody, and I've seen it, nobody knew this, they don't know this person's name. So maybe somebody, if you're riding together, find out what the real name is.
We're gonna cover the whole first aid part.
All that kind of stuff. But I mean, when you said about, let your road captain know if you have, illnesses.
Yeah. So a lot of that goes into, that's the group part of the ride prep. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Some other things you want to consider for your body is what you're wearing, right? So let's talk about long distance rider gear. You need to pack for at least 3 seasons, right? It's going to be cold, it's going to be hella hot, and it's going to be spring, it's going to be breezy. You want to make sure that you're able to accommodate all of those things in your gear. A lot of folks like to pack a lot of unnecessary stuff. The unnecessary stuff is extra makeup, high heels, 3 pair of boots, lots of dresses. Okay, so you only have a certain amount of cubic inches on the bike, right? That's why you see some people, they got a mountain behind them, strapped down. So this is what I suggest you focus on for long distance rides, especially in the summertime. You want to make sure that you have a mesh jacket, but the jacket you also need to take the lining of the jacket because that's usually very thin and can be stored very easily. You want to make sure you have some rain gear. You need to ride with your arms covered if you can. Even if you're not wearing a jacket, you want to wear long sleeves because you want to keep the heat off your skin. That's how you start to get heat exhaustion, is by cooking yourself. If you're a lot of folks, I've seen this in Florida, this always astounded me. People riding with no helmet, no shirt, like tank tops, and they're cooking them so you can see them turn in different shades and colors. You can't do that on a long distance ride because you will hurt yourself.
JD, Park 1. JD and Finance, Park 1.
You want to make sure that you're riding with a full face helmet. You can use what's called a multi-tech so that you can raise the visor, a modular. But you want to make sure that it's a full face helmet because there's nothing like getting hit by a rock at 80 miles per hour in the face. It hurts a lot. You want to make sure you have proper eye protection. Make sure whatever sunglasses you have can withstand a rock or a pebble. You want to make sure you have on mesh gloves to cover your hands. A nice pair of riding jeans. For me, sometimes it's hard to find riding jeans. I mean actual Kevlar jeans that are abrasion resistant for plus size. I absolutely love Sport Bike Chic. She makes she's a woman-owned business that makes motorcycle apparel for all shapes, sizes, and curves. So if you need a pair of and they feel great too. They've got a little bit of stretch to them. So you want to make sure that you've got a nice pair of riding jeans, definitely a nice pair of riding boots. Don't get out here going cross country in Jordans. That's not gonna do it. As somebody who has crashed at a high speed on a long distance ride, my boot actually saved my leg. Right? I had a seedy Vertigo leg boot that came up to about mid, and when I crashed, my leg hit my handlebars. I was flying over the handlebars, and the doctor said it was the boot that saved the leg from shattering. So make sure that you're wearing for the long distance. Make sure you're wearing nice rider boots. Now, if you get into a city and you got a function and you want to pull out, something lighter for that because you're just doing city streets, that's your option. But if you are on the highway for hours, you need to make sure you got the right gear. You also want to invest in a cooling vest. They sell those at various motorcycle shops. You soak them in water, you put them on, you're going to get about 20 minutes of air conditioning. If you don't have one, you can always soak your shirt at a gas station too. You're going to get about 10 minutes of air conditioning. But every little bit helps when you're trying to drop your core body temperature, right? Is there anything else gear-wise?
Service, Park 1. JD, Park 1.
Any gear things that you guys can think of that we might need to think about?
I would say if you're going on a trip with somebody, to get a Cena, so y'all are able to communicate with